Hey everybody, it's Boo-Ray Perry from Tampa, Florida, and today we are going to be talking about this. We're going to be talking about the Neewer i6T EX studio / location / battery powered / high speed sync / full ETTL strobe. I got a lot of good things to say about this light, so stick around. First, though, let me remind you that you need to listen to my podcast because it's called Photobomb, and it's available anywhere that podcasts are found, and it's very cool. You'll enjoy it. It's a great thing to listen to when you're editing or taking a drive to a gig or something like that. Also, be sure and join my group on Facebook, Pro Photo Talk with Boo-Ray. It's where all the cool photographers hang out. And if you want to buy or see any of the gear that I use, either professionally or when I'm traveling with my Fuji, all you have to do is go to my website. The link is right below here in the description. Everything that I carry is all right there. And if you click on that link and end up buying it from Amazon, I get a couple of dollars, and that helps to keep this channel alive. All right, let's talk about this Neewer 6T EX. I am way more impressed with this length than I thought I was going to be. I'm not going to go into a great deal of depth and talk about everything that this light does. I didn't put it through a whole lot of intense testing because there are other websites that do that, and they do it better than I could ever do it, right? I'm not going to try and review the minutia of a flash better than DP Review. I don't think that that's where my strong point is. What I like to do is talk about my experience as a professional photographer, because when I'm going to buy a piece of gear, it's nice to have all those facts. But what I really want to do is I want to talk to other photographers like me, and I want to see what they think. I want to see what their experience has been. So that's what we're going to talk about today when we talk about this light. First of all, let me give you a little background into what I have and what I carry. And then I can tell you where this light fits into my lineup and what I'll be using it for. So my on-camera flash is the Godox V862. This is what I use when I'm walking around and working events and stuff like that. My off-camera flash is the Godox A200. Now this is the Wistro 8200 because I bought it through a second party. But it's the Godox 8200, and this is the flash that I use when I'm working on location. I'm shooting a wedding on the beach or a bar mitzvah. This is my location light. My studio light is the good old Alien B. So many people started out with the Alien Bs, and I did too. 10 years ago when I started in the business, this is my studio light, and this is what I use. I use it on location sometimes. If I'm going to be doing say I was going to be doing a convention, I was going to be shooting headshots all day, or a prom or something like that. Well, then I might bring these lights in and cord them in. I use these lights a lot of times when I'm shooting dance pictures because you're going to need these flashes all day long, and you need a lot of power if you're using a big softbox. So I'll use those flashes then. So prices. The Godox V8602 costs $179. The 8200 costs $299. The Alien B costs $280. Now we get to the Neewer. The Neewer costs $380. Okay? So of all the flashes that we're looking at, it's the most expensive. We got that going in. It's the most expensive. Not too much more expensive. $180 more than this one. But, oh, I'm sorry. I said that wrong. $80 more. Right? This is $299 and this is $380. So this is $80 more. But here's the thing. It comes with the remote. This doesn't come with the remote. So once you add the remote, which I believe is about $60, they're almost the same price. So, almost the same price for these two. Now, power. Well, this is an on-camera flash. I don't know what the exact power is, and it doesn't matter. This is the AD200, and it is commonly said to be 3 times as powerful as this is. It's a 200 watt second light. 600 watt seconds. 600 watt seconds for about the same price. According to their website, this is actually 380 watt seconds, which I was surprised because I thought it was more. But according to their website, it says 380. Maybe I'm wrong about that. This is an 800, so you guys are welcome to correct me on that. So, we've laid out a couple of specifics. Oh, one more thing. Weight. This is 1.9 pounds, 2.9 pounds, 5.4 pounds. Yeah, it's not light. However, it's got a big lithium battery on top of it, and it is 600 watt seconds. This is 200 watt seconds. Of course, it's going to weigh more. But that weight is a factor, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. So, you see my lineup and what I use, and so the question becomes, the Neewer, a light like this, does it fit into my lineup? Is it something I need? Is it something I can use? Where does it fall? And it definitely fits in my lineup. In fact, if I could go back in time, I wouldn't own an Alien B. I would just own the Neewer because it is such a versatile light. Here's how I tested the light. Everybody else gets the lights and they set them up and they get the light meters out and they do the f-stop stuff and they check all the lights and they make sure. Yeah, I'm not so much worried about that. I'm really worried about ease of use more than anything. So what I did was I unpacked it. I put it in my car with the remote. I put my daughter in the car with her date for the homecoming dance. And then I stopped at a park and had about 10 minutes to take their picture before I had to get them to the dance. That was how I tested it. I put it on a stand. I put a double baffled 36-inch octagon softbox on it. I set it in the correct position. I posed them. I checked to make sure the remote was in the correct channel. I put the remote on my camera. I turned everything on, and I fired off a shot. And it was perfect right out of the box. It was perfect. Read the light perfectly. Gave me great light. I couldn't have been happier with the light that I got from this strobe on location with ETTL. So I've generally been happy with the light that I get with this too, but it does have its limitations, right? I can overpower the sun on location. Say I'm shooting group portraits on location on the beach, and I really get my f-stop up high, like f16 and higher, because I need to bring down the sky so I can see the clouds in the sky. When I'm doing that with this light, I need the Fresnel head, and even then, it can be a stretch because I'm pushing it to max. What, with this? No. I could put this in a softbox and still get more power on my subject than I can with the Godox AD200. And did I mention it's the same price? Did I mention that once you buy the remote for the AD200, you're basically spending the same amount of money that you would spend for this? So why wouldn't you just buy this? Why wouldn't you get this instead of the Godox? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Number one is the weight. This is a heavy beast. And when I'm walking out on the beach and it's 100 yards out in the sand and 100 yards back and I'm going to be moving that stand around for an hour or so, I don't want any more weight than absolutely necessary. I'm already carrying all my gear on my belt, so weight is a big factor. If I can do what I need to do with a lighter flash, I'm going to do that. So that's a factor. However, in any situation where weight is not a problem, when I'm doing headshots on location, when I'm doing group portraits on location, when I'm doing school portraits, when I'm doing dance portraits, when I'm doing the father-daughter dance, when I have a photo booth in some location, in all of those situations, the weight only matters when I'm carrying it from the car into the building. And at that point, weight's really not a factor. So would I rather have a 600 watt second light or a 200 watt second light? Well, I'm going to go with the 600 watt second light because not only am I absolutely going to get all the light that I need, I also know that I can use it at a much lower power setting. So the Neewer is supposed to have 400 full power flashes, but if you're using it at a 32 power, 1/32 of a power, wow, do the math. How many full power flashes are you going to get then, right? So weight is a factor, but only in the locations where I'm going to really be hiking with my light. And every other location, weight really, it doesn't matter that much. Another downside to the Neewer is that it's brand new for them. I think that, they've just started moving into high-end electronics. I have a lot of their stuff, but everything I have from them is like a tripod or a softbox or a reflector. And this is the first time I've ever bought a piece of electronics from them. And so they don't have a full line yet. You can't buy the Neewer on-camera flash and etc. So, whereas they say with the Godox line, I can talk to everything in the Godox line. Everything talks to each other. And with the Neewer, I can't do that because I don't have more Neewer gear. However, my Alien Bee doesn't talk to anything. Right? I use this in the studio, and it doesn't talk to anything, and nothing talks to it except for the remote that comes with it. So the bottom line is if I was starting over right now, or if someone came to me and said, I'm buying strobes, what should I buy? And I would say, well, what are you going to be doing? Studio stuff, on location stuff? Are you doing events? What do you need? And they said, well, I want to do, studio work, and I want to do off-camera light on location. Then this is a no-brainer. I'd be like, yeah, pick up some of these, because it's powerful enough to use in the studio. It's more than powerful enough to use on location. It's got high-speed sync, and it's got ETTL. So when you're on location, you can do anything that you want to do with it, and you can do it fast. It's a little heavy, but you won't have to have as many of them, right? Because I wouldn't really use this in studio. So you'd have to have this, this. You can buy these 2 lights, or you can buy just this one. And then it works in studio and it works out of studio, right? And we're on a budget. We're just starting out. What are we going to buy? Well, let's buy the most versatile light we can. And that's definitely the Neewer. Now, the drawback is going to be if you're shooting on location and you want to be able to put lights up to, say, light the room on stands, and you also want to have a camera on your flash that controls those lights. And for that, you need something like this. But for everything else, the Neewer is going to be just fine. Also, if you're going to work on location doing that, you could just, get a bunch of these. Because if you're going to work on location doing events and stuff, you need at least 2 of these anyway, because you need a backup. And typically, that's all I ever needed on location was one on my camera and one as an uplight. So, yeah, I could buy 2 of these and maybe 3 of these for my studio, and I'd be good to go. And I would also have the advantage that if I was going to do a long, long job and I wanted a lot of power, or if I was going someplace where I really wanted to overpower the sun, or if I was going someplace where I wanted to be able to put a big softbox that's heavily baffled on my light, I've got this one. It does everything that this does, except it's much more powerful. And the price, I can't get over the price. Godox makes a 600 watt second light. It's $550. This is $380 with the remote. So the bottom line is, I'm really impressed by this light. And I wish that it had existed 10 years ago when I set up my studio. And since getting it, I've been like, how much could I get if I sold my Alien Vs? Could I get enough to maybe get a couple of more of these lights and just use them all the time and not have cords on the floor and be able to just walk outside with them anytime I want to? I'm telling you, if this is what we have to look forward to from the Neewer line, I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to what they've got coming up in the future. As always, I welcome all of your comments and your questions and your concerns. Please put them in the comment section underneath the video. And please subscribe, because the only thing that keeps this channel going is people like you subscribing to it and watching me talk about camera gear. Thanks for watching.